Okay, let's go ahead and get started. We have a lot to cover today. Welcome back to those of you who are live and those of you who are catching the replay. I'm definitely feeling like we should do a Q&A maybe sometime next month, just live, and go over any questions. I feel like we have covered so much information, and the last thing I would want is for you guys to feel overwhelmed, because it is a very, very simple training, but we are obviously going through it very detailed. So I'll definitely be, I'll talk to those of you and see who have been on and see if it's a good idea. So last week, let's go over. We covered mostly the Intro to Oil class, and I hope that you guys were able to download that free sheet and were able to, just look through it a little bit and see. Yeah, I agree. We need to discuss all the things. um, and just go through it and look at it. I feel like, right here, you're getting the teacher's manual. And when you actually look at the sheet, let me go ahead and pull this up, because some of you might be um, just super new to the Essential Oils Made Easy sheet. And I just want to pull it up real quick just so you can see it. So this sheet, this is everything we went over last week. And it really lays it out, the 3 cool things, the 3 ways to use, and 3 ways to purchase, the 3 types of people. These are the transitions that I told you guys to memorize. It really breaks it down, and you guys can use this sheet too if you prefer using this over your booklet. It's absolutely fine, and I usually just teach off of this. The first couple classes that I was getting used to the transitions and the different things, I definitely had my workbook with me. But then what we're going to talk about today is this. We're going to talk about the things that they wrote down here. So their health concerns and their recommended protocols that we started to work with them on. And we had created their wellness console already on the sheet. So we want to utilize this. Don't just leave these spots open. Really actually use them. They're going to set you up for success as we move forward into your wellness consult, which is really a very, very important part of your business. And if you're not doing the wellness consults, I bet that you don't have a lot of people on LRP. So this is going to be really wonderful for you to get people on LRP. And the beautiful part about our business is our retention. And so we need to be able to be educating people on all the other products that we have. We talk about just a handful at our class. And so this is such a great way to really expose them to all the other things. And obviously we see down here that we touch on Lifelong Vitality Pack. So make sure that they bring this to your wellness consult. They have the date on there, right? They're prepared for it. You're going to remind them, 2 days before and on the same day. I would use the same way we're sampling and following up with reminding people about their wellness consult. So just wanted to touch on that real quick. Then I'm going to go back over to the actual wellness consult and share this with you guys. So I also will include, I think I might have included this last week. I did actually. And share this one. Share. Share the wellness consult. Let's see, there might be too many things up here. I don't know why it's doing that. Whatever. Can you see the wellness consult? Or I'm sorry, the membership consult? Okay, cool. All right. Okay, so here is the membership consult. Of course, Dana did a beautiful job at creating this. And I'm going to just get my notes out here for you guys. Okay. So I like to bring this to wellness consults, and if we're doing them virtually, which most people are doing everything virtually right now, this is a great way. Just do a Zoom or membership consult. I call them wellness consults. You can call them a membership consult or a wellness consult, whatever you prefer. But I like to pull this up so they can see it, and it's so pretty. So you can really just actually start to read through it. Welcome to, welcome to doTERRA. Welcome to all of our amazing products, and start to go through these. I'm not going to spend too much time going through this because it's very self-explanatory. I do love this sheet because I love that right here it gives you like a little bit of a graph, like eating right. Where do you feel like you fall on this scale? And they can circle it. Where do you feel like you fall on this, on exercise and weight management? Where do you feel like you fall on the rest? So you can really see actually their biggest pain point. It's going to be whatever is closest to probably 10. And so have them, sorry, there's background noise. Have them circle that and go through that with them as you are going through all of this. Now at the bottom, we have these little spots, and what are their health goals and their solution, right? So we're gonna start to create a protocol for them as we go through this. And the solution, so say they're having sleep issues, maybe the solution is serenity, right? Or lavender. Maybe you give them a couple options. I think it's always good to give the cheapest option and then maybe the second best and go from there. Just because, again, we want this to be super duplicatable. And so it's really good to use lavender for sleep, and then maybe use lavender first and then serenity, right? And if you have both of the oils, you can just put them, let them smell them and see what they're more drawn to. That's a great way to do that. So, hi Chan, good to see you. Okay, I'll blow through this stuff. If you guys have questions, pop it in here, or you can wait till the end and we can talk. Hi, good morning. I'm in my robe. My husband was still sleeping and it's freezing in my house. So, and I have my coffee here. So cheers. Okay, so, okay, where am I? So yeah, so bring the sheet with them, or have them bring their sheet with them that they wrote from the class of their health goals. We're gonna start to go through those right here. Then this is where we want to start moving towards getting referrals. So obviously everyone who comes to class has this idea of like, oh my gosh, I want to share the oils with, my family. And that's usually just a natural share, right? And I want to share them with my friend, my sister. So you can have, you'll start to hear people say, oh yeah, well, my sister actually has really bad eczema. Do you have something that can help her? Write it down for her. Because again, you have to remember that we're not new to this, but when we have people come to classes and we're working with a new customer, they're so brand new. And for them, they're like, oh my gosh, all the things. It's hard to remember everything. So the point is to write it down and have it, give it, or have a good place for people to easily access the information that you're talking about. So really, our end goal with this is to come up with that 90-day protocol for them. Then we are going to set up their LRP. So maybe they really wanted helichrysum and they really wanted Melissa oil and rose oil, and those are their wish list oils. This is where I love to tell people about LRP and explain to them that, well, I understand that right now it might not be in your budget, but what you can do is once you start ordering on a regular basis, you start getting points back into your LRP cart, you get your shipping back, and over a few months, you're gonna actually have a nice little, you're gonna have a lot of points in there, and you can use that for some of these more expensive oils. And so you can go through all of that with them. So right here is where it's all laid out and go through, months 1 through 3, you're getting 10% back. Months 4 through 6, you're getting 15% back. And then I really love to tell people that, if you are wanting to build your collection, spending 125 PV between the 1st and the 15th is the best way to do that. And really the best usage of your money, because you're getting less than wholesale, right? So you end up getting about 55% back after that 13 months. And so I like to just point that out, that getting the free oil of the month and what that is. And you guys can go through that I'm pretty sure most of you are pretty seasoned about talking about it, but if you're not, just literally read it off of this spot. That's what I love about this. You don't have to have a wordy description, just talk benefits. 25% off wholesale discount on products. That's standard, right? Shipping costs received and free product credit, right? 50 PV, 100 PV, that's what you have to spend. You get 10 to 30% off if you're spending at least 50 PV. Able to receive income, you have to spend that 100 PV each month. Receive free product of the month, you have to spend 125 PV between the 1st and the 15th. So it's very straightforward. And then what I love to do is to schedule also, ask them, do you want to use the oils? Do you want to share? Do you want to teach? What do you feel like doing? As you were sitting there during our class, what was resonating with you? And ask them to write it down right there. This is so great because this is where you start, like the person who you're like, they'll never, ever want to like do the business. They'll say, actually, a 9, I want to do what you do. I want to teach other people and empower them through essential oil education. And so then you can set up that business consult time and go over the actual compensation plan in detail with them. Go over their membership ID, their password, write down their Facebook or your Facebook groups and the websites and other information that they may need. So that is really the wellness consult. I'm not going to spend much more time on that because I do want to move to continuing education and all the things that we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to X out of this and let's see here. X out of that. All right. So we've done our wellness consult. Now we're on to continuing education. Continuing education is something that I feel like our teams are pretty good at as of now, but I am going to be doing it a little bit different. So the goal of continuing education is really to help your customer find 4 or 5 products that they cannot live without, right? Those are what they're going to have on their LRP each month. Those are the things that they will automatically be coming to their house. I tend to see LLV. I tend to see the lavender, lemon, what else? Terrazyme, Digestin, those are in On Guard, obviously, and On Guard soap. Those are probably the most common reoccurring orders that just constantly will be processing because people love those. So anyways, that is our goal in the continuing education. And okay, so continuing education, I'm going to actually fast forward to this page right here. Okay, so how continuing education is going to look. Now, before everything changed and everyone was quarantined into their house and we aren't supposed to be meeting all together, at least that's how it is in California, I was planning to do an online continuing education that would go for 8 weeks. And so how this goes is you rotate each one of these topics. You pick a day each week and you rotate these topics. So as you guys can see, and we have a success schedule that I'll show you next week. You're going to have a 101 class each week. You're going to have one of your continuing education classes for product. Then you're going to have one business training each week. So you should be teaching basically 3 classes, one for newbies, one for product, one for potential builders or people. Even if you've been building for years, it's fine. I think it's great to just continue to hear this stuff. So this is all going to be this will be virtual right now. I think it is so important and really imperative that we continue to create the culture that dōTERRA is, and that is building community. And I think that we've gotten really stuck behind our computers and not building the community within our towns. And I know I have I have a couple teams that are really, really wonderful. Ginger, your guys' team is really, really good at continuing education in person, and that's beautiful. And that's why you guys have been so successful. And so I think that there's something to be said about that. So one thing that I'm going to change for now is to be doing everything online. And once our, coronavirus goes away, and we're able to resume business as usual. Hopefully that's how it is. Having these classes, and they don't have to be long classes, you guys. I would just dedicate 1 hour for each one of these classes a week and go through them and cycle through the different topics. Now I have, and I'll post these in our notes, I have all the different teaching sheets for these 8 classes. So it's really easy, you guys. It's broken down for you really simply, just like the membership consult and the essential oils made easy 101 class. So very, very easy and simple to teach these. And a lot of people will say like, I don't know how to teach it like you do. And I don't even know how to talk about nutrition and supplements. Well, the sheet tells you. It's like a script. You get to read right off of it. So one of the really fun ways to do this is to have a little punch card. And so as you're rotating through your classes, people are going to be able to pop in and out, right? Some people will be able to come to every single class. And so each week they're going to get a punch off of that class. They came to stress, sleep in, the emotion class, a punch off of that. So once they've gone through all 8 classes, you can offer a diffuser or something, I think, kind of big. If you have a customer and or a share builder that's going through all of these classes, to me, that's like a sign, like this person is committed and they might just be capable of really doing this business. So as they're cycling through and as you're building this community, you're going to probably have people popping in and out. And so each week you might actually have someone who is just completing their 8th class. So if that's the case, then you can recognize that person in front of everybody and say, hey, Sarah came to all 8 classes. She gets to have this beautiful diffuser and this oil. Thank you, Sarah, for being so committed to your health and wellness and you're wanting to educate yourself further and empower yourself, and give them that and recognize them in front of everybody. Or you can do this if you're doing it virtually, do it virtually as well. So I think that's fun. People get to see like, oh my gosh, she just got a free diffuser for showing up to all 8 classes. So it's this incentive to be there and to be present. Okay, so some people will do like a certificate of graduation. You could do just a gift, whatever you guys feel is and whatever resonates with you. That's fantastic. So anyways, and then it's pretty, so the topics you guys can see here, I have oils now what? Nutrition and supplement, toxic free living, oils for every age, essential skincare, stress, sleep, and emotions, women's health and hormones, oil for pain management. So if you are like, if the titles aren't resonating with you, you can change those around. If you want like mood and emotion class rather than stress, sleep, and emotions, like make it work for you. But I think this is really great. And again, Elise, she created this off of what works best, and even titles of things, like was very adamant, like we don't change it. So anyways, okay. So that's continuing education. So that is going, for my team, that is going to be running, I'm going to start doing the continuing education in our customer support group for now. That's just what it's going to be. That's Beautiful and Clean Living customer support page on Facebook. And for the people who are not on Facebook, I'm actually going to be putting those into a YouTube channel so people can go over there and look at that, because I do have a ton of people who have decided that they're just not going to use Facebook anymore or haven't been on it. Okay, so then the business training, an effective continuing education program will include a basic business training after each continuing education event. So just like we did with the class, you're going to do a brief business training, right? If you do an 8-week rotation of classes, that's 8 more exposures your customer have into our business. So repeat exposures and make your product user more likely to dive into the possibility of the dōTERRA business. So you can do the continuing education class and then do the business training if that works for you, or you can split it up into 2 different classes. I think it's great to offer it right after. Why not? People are already there. However, it's the time thing. It could be, then you're looking at a 2-hour class. So decide what's best for you. You want to keep it keep it under an hour, cycle through the 4 different duplication models. So it's getting started, compensation plan, how to teach an essential oil class, and elite in 6 weeks. We're going to go over elite in 6 weeks next week, because I really want to dive into this. And we're doing this. I'm in the process of doing this right now. And then I'm going to hopefully have a handful of you guys want to go through it this next month. which will be really fun. So, okay, that is the continuing education portion. We're going to move on to finding builders. Let me see. We're going to skip past the essential oil study this morning. I feel like the essential oil studies are for very seasoned leaders, and I will be running one of these probably in a few months. Right now, I don't feel like with the continuing education and all of the things happening, I think it will just be a little overkill. So an essential oil study, if you're not familiar with it, similar to a sample event, but it's a 2-week sample event. Now, I have found that a lot of people would rather do a week-long sample event, but I think that this is totally worth trying, and I have not done this type of sample event. I haven't done a 2-week one. And so once I do and I wrap my head around it, and I actually have a training that I'm working with right now, I'm going through with another leader, and we're kind of like deciding what it's going to look like. So as soon as I have that, I'll roll that out for you guys. But right now, I think it's important just to really book your 101s and your continuing education and really stick to that, and then also the business training. So I'm going to pass through this, but we're going to stop on the calling tree. The calling tree is really incredible. This is where you might hear people say that you might have heard people talk about scrubbing your organization, or going through and doing a calling tree. So what is that? So the purpose of doing this is really to connect with people in your downline and give opportunities for those who have not been on LRP, for those who are not building the business, and to share that we have those opportunities, and to possibly host a class or begin building, or just give them more exposure to all the things that we're doing. So your goal will be to reach out to every single person in your organization and use your calling tree scripts, which are provided below. So we're going to go over that. But before we do, if you guys haven't listened to this specific call, it's call number 35, go back and listen to it. Patrick actually has a webinar that's on there that I listened to a few weeks back, and I actually listened to it when I was coming back from Prague, and it was really good. The first story he talks about on there is how he describes this man who worked in this gold factory. He was a jeweler, and he worked with gold, and he was constantly cutting the gold and polishing the gold, and he had this mat that would sat underneath his chair, and every few months they would have, because like if you guys have watched jewelers, like there's constantly like little particles like flying into the air, and that's why you have to wear masks and whatnot, so you're not breathing it all in. But there's constantly these little particles flying into the air, and what happens is that mat actually is collecting everything that he's dropping, and in all these particles of gold. So what they do is every few months they go and they have this mat specially cleaned, and they're able to obtain I think he said a few $1,000s worth of gold. It might have been more than that. I think it was a huge number, just from the particles. So if you will kind of think about that in parallel with your business, and going through and realizing all these little tiny particles, like we forget about these people who have come to classes and who bought a lemon oil but just felt maybe overwhelmed because you taught a 2-hour class, or maybe they didn't have it wasn't in their budget, but now they're like, oh my gosh, like I was just thinking about the oils. I've been wanting to try On Guard because I'm reading all of this stuff about coronavirus and I want to boost my family's immune system. And I was thinking about the yarrow palm because my daughter has eczema. So if you're touching base with these people and you're bringing awareness to them, then they're like, oh yeah. So that might have been someone who just never bought from you, or maybe they decided that they were going to buy off of Amazon because that just seemed easier because they didn't want to bug you or whatnot. So the calling tree is a really genius idea to really go through it. I know, it was such an awesome story. You guys have to go back and read it and listen to it. It was really powerful and such a good analogy for what we're doing in our businesses. So what you're going to do, you guys, so you're going to go to doTERRA.com. You need to be able to pull up all of your names list in the back. So if you're not sure how to do that, obviously log into your back office, hover over team, scroll over detailed genealogy, and you'll have access to print your entire organization. You can print it out, and doTERRA usually emails it to you. They'll send you the list and you can print that out. It's not super hard. So if you ever do need help with that kind of stuff, ask your upline or feel free to ask me. So we have so many different types of customers. We have just people in your organization who are purchasing each month who are not on LRP. If they're purchasing each month and they're not on LRP, they're not getting their shipping back in rewards points, right? They're not getting, even if it's under 50 PV, who cares? They're still able to build that cart up. So I like to go through and look at, I'll hover over each of my little people and see like, oh, that person has a 30 PV order, but they're not on LRP. I'm going to make sure that they understand that. So just send them a quick note and let them know like, hey, if you just set up your LRP, I can make sure that those points from this last order count towards your LRP rewards cart, and explain that to them. So we have people in our organizations who are on LRP, who are continually purchasing, and we love these people. Let's make them feel good about their loyalty as a customer. Who knows, maybe they will want to host a class. And okay, we have people in our organization with an LRP scheduled whose card isn't processing. We've probably all seen that. So these are all different people. These are the different ways we're going to start to actually reach out to these people. We're going to make lists, right? So people who haven't ordered in a while, they most likely aren't sure how to use the product or what promotions are currently being offered. So you can talk to them about the promotions as well as your continuing education that you have ongoing. It's great, you guys. When you are touching base with all of these people, if you have your classes set up, they may want to come back to a 101 class. So, and if you have a 101 saved in your YouTube channel or in maybe one of your Facebook groups, refer them back to that, or keep a 101 class that is recorded in your customer support page so people can refer back to that, because that's fantastic. That is like, we think like, oh, they understood all the things, but a lot of people don't. So use the following calling tree scripts according to the type of customer you and your builders are calling. So people purchasing but not on LRP. Hi, this is so-and-so. I work with dōTERRA. We're actually in the same organization and I'm part of your support team. I was looking in the system and noticed that you seem to really enjoy the oils. You purchase them regularly. Tell me which oils are your favorite. What got you involved with essential oils? There's an amazing promotion going on, and I don't want you to miss out on it. It's a promotion that each person who signs up with dōTERRA can receive. The best part is that it is absolutely free because you've already earned it. When you sign up with dōTERRA, you're eligible to have a wellness consult. Wellness consults are amazing. So if someone has not had a wellness consult, it can be daunting to look at your back office and see all these people and try to remember, like, have I done wellness consults with me? Are my builders doing wellness consults? So it's good to have some type of a tracking system. So you can create a sheet. There's so many sheets out there, you guys. You could just Google it and find some type of an organized sheet that will help you. You can just like mark off, like they came to the 101 class, they enrolled. I did my membership consult. They came to the business class, and now they're doing continuing education. So you would know that specific person, oh yeah, I did do a wellness consult on, last year in July. So keep track of it so you know what you're doing. That's really important. First, we look at what products you already have and what ailments or good health goals you want to address. Then we come up with exact wellness plans. So you're explaining to them what this wellness plan or what the wellness consult is. And so you can go through that. And you guys might find yourself like, I would read through these scripts. I don't think I need to read through each different one, but if you are about to do this, like just go back and that's why I asked you guys to print this out, just so you have it. So you could go back and you're like, oh yeah, what do I do for the people who are not on LRP? What's the best script to use? And so go back to that. So yes, so let's see. I'm gonna scroll through people who don't have ordered in a while. So I think with all these different scripts that in the calling tree is not something you're going to do on a monthly basis. The calling tree is going to be something that you do when you're wanting to bring volume up, or when you're starting to push your business, you're wanting to push for a new rank. I would use the calling tree very strategically, and I would get with your upline and ask them when to do that. The concept of the calling tree is also to get all of your builders involved. It's not for you to do it all alone. I can't imagine going through 1,500 customers. Like that would be crazy. So what I would do is I would get my builders together and say, hey, let's do the calling tree together. Let's turn on Zoom and work through this together. That's a great way to like be doing it together. But like, I think it's awesome. Open up a Zoom chat, everyone mutes themselves, grab your favorite beverage and start going through your list and share your wins as they're coming through. That's a really fun way to do it. So you can really call on the people who are helping you and working with you to do this together. So it's not such a burden on you to reach out to all these different people. So yes, use this calling tree specifically for just being strategic. And I wouldn't do it in like, you wouldn't want to do it on a really high volume month. That would be, I think I would just use this when you need it, is my point. So, okay, we're moving on to referrals. And referrals have been so awesome. This has been really the key for me to kind of move past this stuck spot I've been in my business for a few years and really starting to like open up my net of people I know and people who they know and tapping into their networks. So referrals it's quite simple. So make a list of 100. I hope all of you guys have done that. If you guys are not doing the things, your businesses won't be moving forward. So even if you're sitting here doing the trainings and listening to the daily mentor calls, if you're not actually doing the things, you're not building the business. So that might sound harsh. And if that feels harsh and you're like, ooh, it's probably because you're not building the business. So make sure that you're doing the things and you're putting the action into this. We can get really stuck in prep mode. And that is so common in our business, is just to get, to stay in our real comfortable zone and not do the things, but be absorbing all the ways to do it. And I think over time you get more and more stuck in that and buried in the idea of having to actually start to reach out to these people. So make your list of 100 if you have not done them. Rate them. Are they a product user or are they a business? Are you going to, approach them with the business? Are they someone who you're going to text, call, email, or, contact over social media? Like do that. Go through it. Like literally do what, like I think it's the first 5 calls. Okay. And then go into the memory jogger. If you're having a hard time remembering, that was in the first call too. Each person on your list, decide what you're going to do, and then call each influential person on your list. So that might feel scary, but I'll tell you what, when you call someone and you say, hey, Lisa, did you have a couple of minutes to talk to me? Great. Lisa, you're one of the most influential people that I know, and I really value your opinion. And you start there. Like when you tell people that you value them and that they're really influential, usually people are like, uh-huh, thank you. Great. And so I've actually been using this script a ton. So you can go through this whole script. We've already gone through these scripts. And here's the business approach too, right next to it. And use these to start reaching out to people for referrals. So the referrals are, you can go through, a good place to start is to go through your list when you're doing the calling tree and you're in your customers who are using the oils and you feel like, yeah, they're pretty constant users. Ask them for referrals. Ask them, say, do you have any, friends or family that are interested in using our amazing products? Ask them, would you be willing to host a class? I would love to sample your friend who is dealing with eczema. And I would love to sample your friend, your mom for her headaches or whatnot, and start digging into your organizations that you have already and asking for referrals within them. And then if you feel like there are people that you've been watching that have maybe had successful businesses right now, obviously we hear that I heard yesterday that 100,000 people were laid off at Marriott hotels. That's a lot of people, you guys. And I've heard that other network marketing companies they're not making it. Like people, I feel really bad for, some of my friends doing like beauty counter, because like that's not an essential item right now. It's not. But what we have is people more than ever are wanting to take care of themselves. So anyways, you can go through and you can decide, the different approaches that you're going to be taking. So if you have a friend who just lost a job or who is suffering because the economy sucks right now, ask them, say, hey, would you be interested in this? This is what I'm doing. And go through the script, use the script. Hey, Lisa, I'm so grateful that you answered your call. I'm really excited to talk to you today. I've been thinking about you a lot, especially with everything that's been going on with the economy. You're one of the most influential people I know, and people really listen to you. And you can ask for a referral, but then at the same time, they might also be that person that's interested. So don't discount the person that you're asking for a referral, that they're not going to end up just being a product user. They might also be interested in using the business. So it's easy to get kind of like, oh, I'm going to ask that, this influential person for a business referral and ask them if they know someone who fits, the qualities. A woman, she's between the ages of 30 and 55. She's interested in natural things, has a money need. She's influential. That might be the person that you're talking to. And so you can ask Lisa, could I send you some samples? I know that you've been under a lot of stress. I have a couple oils that are really powerful for helping your body just go into a parasympathetic state. You don't have to use that big word, but that's something that I would say. And so you can ask them that. And most people are like, yes, please, I would love that so much. And my husband, his back has been killing him. He's been holding all of his stress in his back, and my kid has a cold. And so all of a sudden, like, your influential person is now going to become a product user and might essentially start building the business with you. Just a thought. So kind of sky's the limit with this whole referral thing. And what I've loved about this is I'm tapping into all these people who I never would have asked ever, ever, ever. So I have a list of people that every day I'm reaching out to at least 2 influential people, asking if they would have time to jump on the phone. And it's been really awesome, you guys. So I have all these new people in my pipeline from doing this over the past 6 weeks because I'm following these steps. So it's really refreshing. It's really refreshing to have people who are excited and who really have the financial need too. So you're also going to have a lot of business people who, if you're reaching out to the mayor in your town, don't expect him to come and build with you, but he might have, a cousin whose sister, I don't know, who has someone who wants to do it. So definitely use these approaches too. It's just like we went over in the very beginning. It's the same thing. So we're just asking for referrals. We're asking someone to give us a referral. Now, you can come up with some type of an incentive to give them when you're referring a specific product, when you can come up with a specific type of a referral. So something I've offered is for someone who is not wanting to build the business, and they're, some people aren't even wanting to use the product, but they have people in mind, then I'll just give them, I'll send them a gift. I'll send them a couple of oils and just say, thank you so much. People who are wanting to probably start building, I'll offer to give them fast start bonuses for every single person. And I also set a really high bar with one of my girls. I said, if you can get me 6 people each month who enroll, then I'll give you fast starts plus $100. So you make it work, make it make sense. So I'm essentially giving back my fast start. So they're getting fast start and I'm giving back my fast start. So you can use your fast start bonuses to work for you in that way. So that was step 5. Step 6, call the people they're referring. And asking, let me backtrack a little bit. So the first step was to make your list. Second step was to decide to rank them, basically. Step 3, call the influential people. Where is step 4? Why am I missing it? Where's the step 4? Oh, well, okay. So decide how you're going to incentivize them and then actually call. It's really important to have the person that's referring somebody. So if they're referring their friend, then I'll just ask them, hey, could you just let them know that I'm going to be giving them a text message or a call around this time? And they'll say, yeah. So I'll just touch base like, okay, or do you want to just start a group chat real quick and introduce us together? And then I can call them. That's a great way to navigate through that. So, And then here are, hi Jen, I was talking to Lisa the other day and she told me that you might be interested in trying some free essential oils. I would love to come and drop off some to you. Right now is a really great place, a really great time to be doing that, because people are home, and so you can just drop them off on their doorstep and you don't have to have the interaction with people, but you're giving them something to try. Let them know you're going to follow back up with them. And if it's a business approach, you're going to say, hey, I was talking to your friend Lisa the other day and explained to her this amazing type of person that I was looking for, someone that I want to put my time, my talents, my resources into. She said that you might be that person. And so go through the script there. And that's really what you do for referrals. If you guys start doing this daily and just set a goal for yourselves, don't do like 20 people a day. That's like not going to happen. Set a realistic goal and start to build on it, and go through the people that you feel like are going to be the most responsive. It sucks to start your day with someone who's not. So start your day of, I like to spend about an hour a day literally contacting and following up with people. And that has been the magic sauce in my business right now, and starting to bring on new builders, which has been so fun. And so that is where I would spend a lot of your time doing this, and looking for referrals and making a list of people who you want to specifically reach out and ask for referrals. So that is that. Okay, moving on, I think we're going to finish up with the three-way call right now. Okay, so a three-way call is really going to be vital to, this is a new thing. I actually just started doing these. It's not something I have ever done in my business prior to like 6 weeks ago. And so but I've seen it to be super successful. And I think it's really important, as you guys are starting to bring on new builders, to do three-way calls with your upline. So I think anybody who's gold, silver, I would say silver and above, depending on where you're at. If you have a gold, platinum, diamond leader above you, then fantastic. Reach out to them and ask if they'll do a three-way call. And some people don't even have builders above them. You might be listening to this and way far down in our organization. I don't know. So reach out to me if you want, and I would love to do a three-way call with you and your potential builder. I think it's really important though that you have someone who is influential on this call. I think like it's what makes this call special. And I have my mentor Season. I have her on mine, and that's been so great. So, okay, but the three-way builder prospect call, the magic of presenting the opportunity is that you don't have to know it inside and out. It's actually a series of magical questions that are most effective at helping builder prospects jump into the business. This process adds credibility to your business and your business proposition. It leverages the social influence and the success of your upline as well. While you can do this presentation on your own, it is highly recommended that you do have a silver or above on there. So you're gonna use this whenever someone is interested in the business. Now moving on, how does a three-way call work? Okay, so it's really important prior to the call that whoever you're doing this call with, so say Season is doing a three-way call with one of my builders, I'm going to make sure I tell that specific person, like, hey, and for us, obviously the people know, we all work together so closely, which has been so wonderful. But it's really important to just make known that, hey, Season is incredibly busy. She is carving out this half an hour with us, and she's so gracious to be able to spend time with us. She is amazing. She is our presidential diamond leader. She has built a very successful business. Like, you can go on and just, talk about her talents and the things that she really shines in, and really edify your upline. What that does is it then allows people to understand, because not everybody knows Season, but they're like, oh, wow, that's really cool. They actually are like, wow, I feel honored that I get to be on this call with Season. And then from there, it helps them to show up to the call. They're not going to just flake on it as easy as they may have. So build and edify the upline leader before the three-way call, and the builder needs to, before the three-way call, and again at the beginning, the builder needs to properly edify the upline leader in order to build trust between you and their prospect. Once they have done this, they must be quiet and let you control the conversation. So then from there, I would talk about Susan and dote on her and tell, my builder how much I love Susan. She's my best friend, blah, 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 blah. And then from there, I'm just going to be quiet and I'm going to let Susan roll with it. So we usually we'll meet prior to the call and talk through, who we're meeting with and whatnot, and then go from there. So take time to ask discovery questions. Tell me about what's going on in your life. How long have you been doing X, Y, and Z? And then she proceeds to ask all these questions. Ask need problem questions. What do you see the next 5 years looking like? And you're looking for what needs to change, right? And so you're actually writing down, you're listening to what the pain points are. What are the most frustrating things about your job? Is it finances? Maybe it's home life. What are the most frustrating things about life in general? And so you're asking. So maybe it is their job. What would you like to change about those? What financial goals are you wanting to accomplish? What impact does that have on your family? What impact does that have on your job? What are the consequences of not solving this issue? Ask solution benefit questions next. How valuable would it be what benefits do you see if you could wave your magic wand? This is a very, the key part of this entire three-way conversation is to help people dream. What is it? What is it? That's where people, sometimes you'll start to hear you'll see the tears and the emotions start to come out. My dream is to stay home with my kids and I'm always gone. And my dream would be to be making my income, supplementing my income, but able to be home with my family. And so that is do not skip over that and say it exactly as it is written out. If you could wave your magic wand and doTERRA was exactly what you wanted it to be in your life, what would that look like? And just wait and ask and listen. So find out how to best support them in their doTERRA business. This is where it's really important, you guys, for people you really see people's realistic or very unrealistic expectations. Would you like to supplement or replace your income? You ask them. A lot of people will say, I'd like to supplement. Yeah, I'd like to have a side thing. Well, what does it mean to supplement or replace it? And ask the numbers. Is it $500? Is it $1,000? Is it $2,000? Is it $5,000? Is it $10,000? What is it? What is it? What is that number? And some people will say, yeah, I like to do, I feel like people usually are more, they're bigger dreamers. I'd like to make, an additional $5,000 a month. And you're like, okay, cool. So you write that down, 5,000. By when would you like to reach this goal? I don't know, maybe 3 months. How many hours a week are you willing to be able to commit to your business, your doTERRA business, in order to reach that goal? I have about 5 to 6 or 7 extra hours a week. Well, right there, I'm thinking in my head, that's unrealistic. But that's okay. You just listen. You just start to write it out. You listen to what they say. And some people, it is so realistic. They're like, I would like to replace my income. I would actually like to make about $5,000 to $6,000 a month. And, I'd like to do that in the next year and a half. They have a realistic opinion or idea of what that's going to look like. So I think I understand more clearly what your goals are and how I can support you in these goals. Is there anything else you need to know in order for you to feel comfortable building the residual income with doTERRA? If they have more questions, then just go through and answer them, whatever they are. Give call to action. What I'd like to do is schedule another call in a few days. That will give me time to mull over what you've shared with me and come up with a specific business plan. We'll go over a 30, 60, and 90 day plan to help you achieve your goal. Does that sound good? Great. Reverse edify and end the call. If you were presenting the opportunity for one of your builder prospects, reverse and edify your builder before ending the call. So then Susan and I would both edify each other again, and then we would end the call, right? And then we'd schedule the follow-up. So the follow-up's important. This is where you're going to, in the meantime, you're going to create a plan for them, and you're going to help them see what is realistic and what is not realistic, but in a really good way, in a factual way. So start the call by referring to something that they said in the previous call. This builds a lot of trust and credibility and allows you to go back to the same place you were on the first call. This call is where you need to talk, not just listen, as we were on the first call. So refer back to your notes, have those key things written out that you're going to mention, and then set business goals. Okay, I've been thinking about you and your goal and your dream you shared with me. I'm really excited about what you've told me, and I have a question to ask you. Would you like me to be realistic with you today or tell you what you want to hear? This is where you're going to like really break it down for them. Like, what do you want? Do you want me to tell you the truth? We've watched a lot of people build this business, and we have seen many people become successful in this business. We've been able to gather averages of thousands of people building the business to see how long it takes and how much time they put in on a weekly basis and how much money they make as a result. Now, I don't think, so you guys, if you're doing this three-way call and you're doing it over Zoom, you can be reading the script if you feel like, until you feel comfortable doing it. That's the whole point of these scripts. Or if you're having a phone call, read the scripts, use the scripts. They're here to like help guide you as you're, becoming more comfortable with these conversations. Now, I don't think I'm average, and I don't think you're average. And together, I definitely think we're above average, but it's good to have these averages so we have a good starting point. Let's look at your goals. I told you, or you told me that you'd like to be earning X by X. If I look at the chart with the company averages, and you can pull up this chart, you guys, right here, and it tells you realistically what, the weekly time spent to each rank, time it takes to get to each rank, weekly time spent, average monthly income, expected income when new to rank. These are, the new to rank is definitely, I would say these are more, if you have a newer organization, which we actually all have we have a much younger organization. So we probably in our team all see these averages more than these higher averages from people who have been in the business for 10 years. So that is just something that you can refer back to and show them on there. So the average chart also tells us that their target rank typically takes X amount of months to achieve. So to be realistic, one of these numbers needs to change. Either you could increase the hours you're able to work each week, or make your income goal a little bit smaller. What would you be willing to adjust? And let them answer, let them explain. Because usually they're like, oh yeah, totally. But this is good, you guys. This is being realistic. And I feel like so many people jump into our business and think like, oh, it's easy to make money. It's, quick money, fast. And it can be if you're a high enroller and you're getting the fast start bonuses, for sure. But this business takes time, and it takes a little grit to build it. So adjust the numbers until you have a realistic goal. Okay, so you want to do 35 hours a week and want to be making $1,000. Would it be okay if we made the goal 6 months instead of 3 months? If someone says they want to put in fewer than 15 hours a week, say, I have never seen anyone make significant residual income working fewer than 15 hours a week. 15 hours a week is really the minimum time to gain momentum you'll need. Sometimes someone might struggle committing to a weekly time if they don't know how it'll be spent. And if that's the case, you can definitely look at that duplication model and look at like a good schedule as to what it's going to look like. And I always like to tell people, like, I'm doing this with you. You're not doing this alone. Like, we're linking arms and doing this together. So set the goal, the time frame, and feel positive about what you're setting, and then tell them. You'll both try to overshoot the goal, which most people will be really happy with, right? Because we're going to try and just be overachievers and hit those. So 30, 60, 90-day plan. Now that we know what your goal is, let's put together the 30, 60, 90-day plan and strategize on how to help you get started. So find out how soon they want to get started, whether it's, this coming week, or maybe it's the beginning of next month, and set their first 4 classes on the calendar, and be sure that they have 2 weeks before they launch to really do their effective sampling. So we're seeing that it takes about 2 weeks to prep for these when we're stepping into the 6 weeks to elite. And that's what we're going to go into next week. But you're going to start to create this plan for them and these expectations, because they just told you that they want to work. They want to do this. So So you're going to say, well, let's take 2 weeks, let's prep and let's start to sample. So you're going to go back to the very beginning, create your names list, effective. You're going to start sampling, you're going to invite, you're going to have a launch week, week 3. And this is what 6 weeks to Elite is. Week 4, you're going to do wellness consults. You're going to start doing your 3-way builder calls with all these people who have been showing their interest in possibly building with you. You're going to teach classes, booked from classes, and begin launching new builders. The 6 weeks to Elite timeline should be the standard. Any slower, and it's challenging to maintain momentum. So that is this right here. So the first 2 weeks, we're sampling, we're following up, we're inviting, prepping. And then week 1, you're going to teach 4 classes. Week 2, you're going to have another prep week. You're going to teach 2 classes the following week, and so on and so forth. This is 6 weeks to Elite. And so you can break this down into hitting diamond. It's really fun, and we'll do that. We'll talk about that more next week. So that is all I have today. Yep, that is all I have today. So thanks for being on here. I'll put the membership consult link, or just check in the recording above or below, I should say, from last week for the membership consult link. And if you guys have any questions about this, or need help with 3-way calls, just make sure you reach out to either me or your upline, or you guys can do the 3-way calls on your own, but they are just so much more powerful if you have another person on. And I think if you have tricky situations in your organization, it's really wonderful just to bring fresh eyes into it. And it's wonderful. So yeah, thank you guys. And we'll be in touch over this next week. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon.